have to clean up.
No, Rabbi.
Hi, Roger.
Hello.
Hi,
Nice to see you.
Look at the doggy. I want that doggy.
Now you get to see
Marilyn.
Marilyn.
Hi, Natalie.
Hello, Marilyn.
I'm still COVID positive.
Oh.
3 months
Salve, Eric.
and no symptoms.
Oh my goodness.
Are you taking anything for it? Taking any medicine for it?
21 people are on.
There's no
Marilyn.
medicine.
Do you take anything for it?
No, there's nothing you can take.
But
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Good evening. It's good to be with all of you. And good to have a special guest with us. Not so much a guest, a member of our congregation. Chesed Yibane Yadadai 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 Olam Chesed Yibane Yadadai 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 Olam Chesed Yibane Yadadai Yadadai It sounds the same no matter the words. Let's do the Hebrew one more time. Olam chesed yivane Yadadai 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 I will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. Then you must build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. If we build this world from love, yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. Then God will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. Olam chesed yivane. Yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. Olam chesed yivane. Yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. Olam chesed yivane Yadadai, yadadai, yadadai Olam chesed yivane Yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. In a week where we are so aware of the brokenness that surrounds us, important to find some space and let go of the brokenness just for a little bit. To find some wholeness, find some peace. Because if you can't find that peace and wholeness anywhere, it's hard to create it. So this Shabbat, even though we know the world is broken, just for a little bit, we act as though it's perfected. Pretending that all of us, not just those of us here right now, but all of us human beings can build the world from love, and just that. I will build this world from love. And you must build this world from love. And if we build this world from love, then God will build this world from love. Creator of darkness and light, banish my despair, turn aside my indifference, soften the callousness of my heart. Open my eyes that I may see that beauty abounds and love abides. Enlighten my life with holiness and grace. As it is written, come, let us walk in the light of God. Looks like we've lost Cantor Hayut. One moment. Sorry, folks. Just some technical difficulties. So as it turns out, the reason Cantor Hayut can't get on is because there are already 100 of us on this call. So if you're willing, the live stream is up. You can certainly continue to watch there. I'm so sorry. We need, looks like, okay, you don't, okay, that's enough. If nobody else has to sign off.
Chairman, I'm so sorry. We maxed out because I guess everyone's just excited to see you, Rabbi Levy. And us, of course. So, l'chadodi. L'chadodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'sachor b'dibor echad, Ishmiyanu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, u'shmo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'lethilah. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lecho v'necha, Ki mechor habracha, Lirosh mikedem v'socha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tefila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hidoreri, ki ba'orech, umi ori, shir daveri, Kvod Adonai alayich mikra. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam v'simcha u'tzola, Toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Continuing with Psalm 92, Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat, singing to Shabbat as she continues to enter.
Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha
invite to light our Sabbath lights Deborah and Ralph Katz. You're unmuted now, Deborah.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, by our lives, light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of English Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among
Figures. Continue. Just on the actual note. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadik ner lehadik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you, Fern and Ralph and Deborah. Shabbat shalom to you.
Shabbat shalom.
We continue Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ויעמד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם עולם מעלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה, ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמה, ואמרו אמן.
Please rise for the Baruch Hu if you're able. Please be seated. God of mystery, thank you for the gift of this day, for the one ending and the one about to begin. Help me to see the moments and the hours, those already past and those to come, as blessings, as teachers. Guide me to service for your name's sake. Grant me comfort and rest so that I enter the new day with a sense of joy, hope, and peace. Then, God of old, I will become a source of love, a beacon of wonder, awe, and grace. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv, Aravim. Light is sown for the righteous, tucked into cracks in the sidewalks, dropped in the grass, breathed into the air, left waiting for others to find. You who are upright in heart, let your deeds declare your love. Let your hands be a source of healing. Let your joy be a fountain of blessing. Rejoice in righteousness and spread holiness throughout your days. Light is sown for you. Seek it, find it, magnify it in service to God's holy name. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We continue with the Shema. If you'd like, please rise.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'otecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Veshinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'lechtecha v'derech, uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha, uv'kshartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu letotavot bein einecha. וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, מלכותך Adonai yimloch leolam vaed. Adonai yimloch leolam vaed. Adonai yimloch leolam vaed. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We ask God to watch over us this evening, all evenings, to shelter us with peace.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Ve'amidenu Shomreinu Lechaim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Ve'amidenu Shomreinu Lechaim. Ushmot Tzitenu Uvohenu Lechaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Ve'amidenu Shomreinu Lechaim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Ve'amidenu Shomreinu Lechaim. Ve'amidenu Shomreinu
We continue with Vishamru, our weekly reminder to keep this day different, to guard it, keep it separate, and there we shall find its holiness.
V'shamiru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בביתם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בביתם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל
We continue with the Amidah, with the central prayer of this evening's service, and we will chant out loud together the first three blessings, and then I'll read the Chatimah, the final blessing for the intermediate blessings, and then we'll have a chance for some silent prayer towards the end of the Amidah this evening. If you are able, please rise.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu ve'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Komel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konei Hakol, ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imahot, U'mevii Geula livnei v'neihem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava. Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah rav lehoshia. Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somek noflim ve'rofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha bal gevurot, Umito melach, Melech memit u'mechayeh u'matzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Machazir Shechinato Tzion. Praised are you, Adonai. Adonai Hato Shimcha L'chena El Hod. And you are worthy of the Mavarech et Amo Yisrael with peace. We continue with silent prayer. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Ki atah melech Adon,
וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
And we continue with some chanting from our Torah portion this week. And again, if you were with us last week, I mentioned that we're in a sort of odd moment in the calendar, in the Torah chanting calendar. Many synagogues in the United States or elsewhere in the diaspora will be chanting Naso this week. We have moved on to Behalotecha with the community in Israel. Even some Reform synagogues will break up Naso in half 1 week, half the next week. We are continuing on, though, with Behalotecha, and that happened because of Shavuot, the second day of Shavuot falling on Shabbat. And so we read here, Cantor Hayut chants here from Numbers chapter 11, beginning at verse 14. And I'll be following along with my cursor if you'd like to follow along.
לא אוכל אנוכי לבדי לשאת את כל העם הזה, כי כבד ממני. ואם ככה את עושה לי, הורגני נא הרוג, אם מצאתי חן בעיניך, ואל אראה ברעתי. ויאמר אדוני אל משה, אספה לי 70 איש מזקני ישראל, אשר ידעת כי הם זקני העם ושוטריו, ולקחתי אותם אל אוהל מועד, והתייצבו שם עמך, וירדתי ודיברתי עמך שם, והצלתי מן הרוח אשר עליך, ושמתי עליהם, ונשאו איתך במסעם, ולא תישא אתה לבדך.
Thank you, Cantor Hayut.
Welcome.
We take a few moments now as we think of friends and family members of our community who are in need of healing. If you'd like a name added to our list for healing and you don't hear me read it from our community list, please just add it to the chat box and I'll read it out loud. Debbie Pisrak, Joanne Blumberg, Valentina Wolfson, Hillary Hanwerger, Bridget Ford, Joel Berger, Margaret Leslie, Sidney Newsom, Barry Hopkins, Buddy Tepper, Melissa Dorfman, Milton Child, Sherilyn Ford, Shmuel Natan Ben Avra Yaakova, Lauren Orzak, Aaron Scott, Jennifer Kinser, Valerie Carey, Sharon Israel, Sima Kroll, Nicole Levine, Lance Mermel, Rachel Mermel, Judy Silverman, Alan Dorfman, Rosalind Pollins, Miwa Lewis, Neil Townsend, Marilyn Mann, Marilyn Jeffs, Albert Rancourt, Sooner Heath, Joan Cohen-Jones, Chuck Scott, Leela Sankaran, and Anne-Marie Herbagen. And we add to those names Robert Zinn, Don Allen, Annie Kopko, Evelyn Booth, Patrick Benninga, Doreen Lipson, Pat Pigeon, Ellen Bosco, Joe Warford, Gladys Johnson, Joseph Caspito, Susan, Chuck Salvetti, Sam Silver, Joel Mitchell Cohen, John and Carol Cargill, Richard Humphrey, Ellen Moore, Sam Silver, Tony Wisniewski, Ron Hirsch, Milton Scott, Dina Gitterman, Jane Lockett, Bob Tell, Bobby, Marty Scott. Words from this week's Torah portion. When Miriam is struck with Sarat, with this white, flaky skin disease, Moses calls out for her healing. 5 words. Please, twice though. El na, refa na la. Please, God, please heal her. For all of us, for all of those mentioned, for our country, we pray for healing. El na refa na la, El na refa na la, El na refa na la, El na refa na la. And Moses cried, heal Miriam, this I pray. And Moses cried, heal Miriam, this I pray. El na refa na la, El na refa na la, El na refa na la, El na refa na la. And Moses cried, heal all of us, this I pray. And Moses cried, heal all of us, this I pray. El na refa na la, El na refa na la, El na refa na la, El na refa na la. It is now an honor to share our virtual Bima. I wish, of course, we could be in person with Rabbi Levy. Let me just... All right, Rabbi Levy, you should be unmuted now.
Yes, I am. This was so wonderful to be in everyone's company. I don't believe it's virtual company, it's real company. Thank you so much for having me this evening. The problem is that I was initially asked to talk about, or I offered to talk about, a history of Jews in Italy. Truly a long, very long, dates back to before the year zero, if there's such a year. Truly a long and interesting story with something to say about the American Jewish experience. But since we are living in moments that will themselves make instructive history, I'd rather share in this time the now of the Italian Jewish experience. The big picture can wait. Our concerns need to be the here and now. Part of my concern is the current situation with reform in Italy. Weirdly, things look surprisingly good. But before I start, let me add that your here and now, though difficult and weird and full of real fears and loss, your here and now is being addressed so positively by TBE and Rabbi Winston and Cantor Hayut and the TBE leadership and staff. They are certainly inspiring me in my efforts to support Congregation Shir Hadash in Florence, though your spiritual response to the virus so far outshines our efforts. Thank you and Rabbi Winston for this opportunity to share what is my experience and our experience in Florence. Before the virus, BV, or as we Jews might call it, BCE, before the Corona era, liberal Judaism in Italy was atypical, not at all like the experience of most Jews in Europe. In much of Europe, especially in Central Europe, liberal Judaism emerged in the 19th century as a response to larger cultural changes. Or Noga, The Light of Venus, was published in 1803, and it was the first book of liberal rabbinic thought. It occurred in Germanic lands. In Italy, the modern world unfolded differently for two very distinct reasons that are really the same. First, Italy is different, a world unto itself. It only looks European if you ignore everything else outside of Europe. Italy is actually a large Mediterranean island attached to a mostly mountainous region of Europe. Okay, I know that's called a peninsula, but one that stretches far into the sea. Much of the country has North African connections. Much of its history is Mediterranean. When I learned about the Roman Empire in high school, which is just another name for Italy in another era, it was all about the Mediterranean. Mainland Europe was an afterthought, something about some wall in the middle of England, but it was all about the Mediterranean. So too, the Jewish community was never part of mainstream European experience. We are neither in Italy Ashkenazic or Germanic or Sephardic, Spanish. Italian Jewry inside of Judaism is well considered Italian Jewry, separate from the other two streams of Jewish history. And as modernity came to Europe, the Italian communities, for inside of Italy, every region, every city sees itself as separate from the rest of Italian communities. The Italian communities missed the changes that liberal Judaism brought in the 19th century. Italian rabbis were not caught up in the turmoil of Eastern and Western and Central European Jewish history that led to Reform Judaism and to Fiddler on the Roof and to the Hasidim and to gefilte fish. Italian rabbis created different ways to address the needs of a modernizing Jewish community, much of it based on compromise rather than on the zero-sum game played out in the Ashkenazic world. Reform Judaism only came to Italy in very recent years as a result of the Israeli Orthodox, the Orthodox rabbis in Israel and their establishment and their effort to control world Jewry and European Jewry and American Jewry and impose the same control they impose upon Israeli Jewry. The same issues about marriage and conversion and aliyah to Israel that offend and disturb us also exist in Italy. now. Simply put, the Italian rabbinate has turned dramatically to the right. And since the Orthodox Italian rabbi and the community authorities have a deal with the government, the Italian government, to represent all Jews, they hold great power. The deal looks very similar to what goes on in Israel, but is actually based on the Italian government's historic relationship to the Catholic Church. So just as the Catholic Church represents all Catholics, the Orthodox rabbinate represents all Jews. And as Italian Jews discovered in just the last few decades, the model of behavior presented by the Orthodox Jewish community began not to resemble how they lived in general, and specifically, they began to find that intermarriage excluded them from the Jewish community, the synagogue, and other organizations. And a few, found a home in progressive Judaism. It is still quite small. There is a large congregation in Rome of a couple hundred families. Our very small congregation in Florence, serving the entirety of Tuscany, founded in 2003. And in keeping with long-standing Jewish tradition, there are two congregations in Milan that split over an issue that has ceased to have any relevance to either congregations, although there are now two congregations. In Bologna, we have our fifth community that we hope will grow into our fifth congregation. And in just the last couple of years, we founded FIEP, Federazione Italiano Ibrasimo Progressivo. FIEP has three main functions: to support our 5 communities, to connect with progressive Judaism in Europe and throughout the world, and to fight for our rights within the larger Italian Jewish community. And then COVID changed everything. When I am in Florence, we conduct bi-weekly Shabbat services in a small hall leased from a Protestant church. Half of our membership is from Florence, and they regularly come. And the other half of the membership lives elsewhere in Tuscany, and only a few of them are ever present on any given Shabbat. Now we hold weekly Zoom services and assorted musical and educational events that are better attended than our Shabbat services ever were. Nothing to the extent of TBE's program, but far more than we ever did. And because distance is less relevant than bandwidth, we are reaching more people. I do not look forward to going back to the way, I do look forward to going back to the way it was, but with mixed emotions. Same for FEEP. A mostly supplemental organization is now more relevant. On Shavuot, we held an all-Italy progressive Tikkun Leil. Before COVID, FEEP was an organization run by and really for those interested in FEEP, much like the URJ. Now, average congregants in their search for connections are finding larger communities within larger Italian progressive Judaism. We all live in intersecting communities. Synagogues, schools, work, neighbors, and family all fill our lives. But they're reduced now to one screen, the one we are sharing presently. While many religious communities provide in this new world a rich program of a different sort than we formerly did, the impact on our small community has been profound. Members in distant places are fully included, while communities in different cities can begin the true work of a national movement. In some ways, the Zoom way is in the best interest of such a small and dispersed community. I don't want to lose what we found simply because the old ways return. Nothing is sweeter than the intimacy of a Shabbat gathering and a tasty oneg, except if you can't be there. And it's more than just streaming. Earlier today, I led a 6:30 service in Florence, 12:30 our time. I began in Washington. Songs were led from Nashville. Psalm 29 was chanted from a Florence suburb. Candles were lit in Siena, and the tefillah was led in the Oltrarno district of Florence. This is not streaming that lets others in, but a community building, that our young community needs. I wish I knew what next year will look like, but I believe we have stumbled upon an opportunity to move ahead with new strength. The trick will be integrating the precious old with the benefits of the new. Now here I was supposed to end, but allow me to add an extra ending. Today at our services, in the Zoom Oneg time in Florence, America and our troubles were the topic of conversation, and Josh mentioned it as well. What they see in us, and many of my members are in fact American expats who spend a good amount of time in the States. What they see in us is a nation that poorly handled the virus and is now close to social collapse. Admittedly, not so accurate, but heartfelt and filled with real concern. Indeed, I feel a bit foolish talking about Italy at all, as our nation seems to struggle to tie its shoes. Yet it is hard to get out the knots of 400-year-old laces. But we will be blessed in our journey wherever we live. Jews struggle and move ahead, nations struggle and move ahead, and the world will be blessed by God. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Levy. Is it okay? Can I ask a question?
Everyone can ask questions. What's your question?
Will you try to answer? I don't know. I suppose that's the. Well, I'm curious. You began your talk setting up the relationship, I suppose, between liberal Jews and Orthodox Jewry. How do you think that this moment will affect the relationship internally within the Jewish community in Italy, and but also outwardly facing towards the rest of the Italian world? What does that look like, do you think?
The struggle between the Reform movement, which is really quite small, and the Orthodox community, which is numerically quite large, but actually populated by a very small number of people who practice Orthodox Judaism. That struggle is a classic struggle that probably best understood in Marxist terms. It's about power and money and control and all those kinds of other issues. So we will have to fight hard to get our space to breathe. The Orthodox community, COVID aside, is not going to simply say, well, now we've had COVID, so welcome aboard. Here's your share of the Italian budget. Here's your share of space to use things. We welcome you all. It's just, I can't see it happening, because what the sellout of the Orthodox rabbinate in Italy to the empowered Orthodox establishment rabbinate in Israel has been profound. It used to be in Italy, although no one really wants to talk about this, it used to be in Italy that if you had an intermarriage and you raised your children as Jews, it was no issue. Everyone considered them Jewish. It was basically patrilineal descent without the structures that we've created to support that notion in the States. But now it's not going to happen. And just about 2 weeks ago, the Orthodox lay body told us we were just not going ever to get a seat at the table, even though they had promised us a seat at the table. So we shall see. But we are a very small community. France has a big liberal Jewish population. England has a big liberal Jewish population. Italy has a tiny liberal Jewish population.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us, for offering your insights, your words, your thoughts about not only, I think, Italian Jewry, but all of us as we make our way through this. I suppose these situations that we're in. It's great to have you here, even if it we can't reach out and touch each other at the moment. We look forward to welcoming you back into our physical space eventually. So, yasher koach, kol hakavod.
Thank you all.
We continue our Shabbat service with Aleinu. Please rise if you're ready.
Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהונו שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגבהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Rock of Jacob, comfort of Rachel, broken and torn, shattered and crushed, bereaved and bereft, we declare your holy name. We praise your gifts and your works. You are author and artist, architect and builder, source and redeemer. We, the mourners of Zion and Israel, comfort each other. We console the lonely and embrace the lost. We cry each other's tears. Together we recall your wonder and your majesty. Holy One, ineffable Redeemer, guiding hand, gentle hand, loving hand, Light of Israel, you are our shelter. We are in the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning for Doris Sperling, Marvin Struminger, Maury Silverman, Maxine Schell, Genedia Nemstoff, Myrna Miller, Jonathan Gorwitz, and Harold Schumacher. Our yahrzeits this week are for Gertrude Aaron, Nancy Adams, Jack Adelson, Mark Adler, Helen Barga, Morris Brown, Rose Cantor, Pauline Castle, Archie Cohen, Lou Edelman, Harry Fox, Alexander Frank, Herbert Goodrich, Bessie Gross, Claire Grunner, Oscar Hertz, Ottfried Habe, Chai Horwitz, Millie Levin, Margot Libstag, Ida Melnick, Sadie Meltzer, Phyllis Morris, Guy Newland, Dorothy Newman, Saul Parker, Ruth Schultz, Charles Shafaroff, Jerry Sherman, and James Springer. If there are other names to add to our list for mourning, please do so in the chat box. Saul Stein, Helen Fuller, Linda Gorilinski, for all of those mentioned, for all of those who go unmentioned, and for all of those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, we rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, be'alma divrach hirotei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabba mevarach le'olam olamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudesha brichu. Ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Shalom.
Zichronam livracha, may their memories be forever a blessing. Please be seated. And this coming week, actually sort of a nice introduction, although we won't be talking about Italian jewelry. We are in the class that I'm beginning to teach a curriculum that was published by the Shalom Hartman Institute in Jerusalem. We will be discussing Jewish peoplehood, both here in the United States and our relationship to the land of Israel. It will be a fascinating discussion, I'm sure, with many different sources to read and videos to watch and conversation to have. So do please join us Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. I am asking everybody to RSVP for that because I need to send you a link, which you'll be getting Sunday, to the website so that you can download some of the materials for the class. So please do RSVP for that. It was in your weekly email, and there was a special email I think that went out about it as well. Cantor, other new? I don't think we have any other new things this week, this coming week, but we continue with our regularly scheduled programs, and lots of them throughout the day. Anything you'd like to highlight, Cantor Youth?
Nothing for this coming week, except that I'm going to be taking a few days off. So we hadn't talked about what was going to happen with those programs that I normally run, but I have a feeling we'll figure it out. So just stay tuned and check the calendar just in case something does get canceled this week. I'll be back on Thursday. So anything that I have planned Thursday, please know that I'll be there for. But choir rehearsals.
Enjoy.
And B'nai Mitzvah class is happening. Most of it's happening. So.
Well, enjoy your few days off, Cantor Youth, I hope.
Tomorrow morning, because I'm not going quite yet.
That's true. Good point. Yes, join us for Torah study, 8:50 tomorrow morning. Shabbat services, 10 a.m. And yeah, let's go back and finish up our service.
So I share this lovely song, which is kind of a folk song, because I think these words really resonate with us now in this day, in these days that we're living in. Let us sing this song for the turning of the world, that we may turn as one. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our turning. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our turning. Every verse is like that, just with slightly different words. Let us sing this song for the loving of the world, that we may love as one. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our loving. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along. With every voice, with every song, out, it's the last verse. Let us sing this song for the building of our world, that we may build as one. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our building. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our building, and our lives will feel the echo of our healing, and our lives will feel the echo of our loving, and our lives will feel the echo of our turning.
Shabbat Shalom. And again, thank you so much, Rabbi Levy, for being with us, for bringing your wisdom, your experience, your thoughts once again to our community. And an honor for me. I think this may be the first time that I've heard you sort of give a full sermon. So if we call that a sermon, but it was lovely to be here and to experience that with the rest of our congregation present tonight. Thank you so much for honoring us again with your presence. I am going to now make it so that everybody can unmute themselves. You'll still be muted, but you can unmute yourself. And before everybody starts screaming, because I know that's about to happen, it's very hard, of course, for everybody to say thank you and Shabbat Shalom to Rabbi Levy and to each other. So we can certainly try for a minute or two, but we'll still have the breakout rooms in a moment for those of us who would like to stick around to say Shabbat Shalom to each other. So I'll let you have it now, and it's all yours. But just recognizing that it's difficult for us to all speak at once on Zoom. So.
Wave.
Hi, Karen.
Wave.
Yes, good idea.
Wave.
Art says
Wow.
wave.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom to everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Hi, Ruth.
Shabbat shalom.
It's great
Shabbat
to
shalom.
see you. Thank you.
Jerry.
Shabbat shalom.
How do we get to be in the big screen?
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Elida.
Yes.
Look, they were sitting by a window in front of us.
So I'm in speaker view, and it's awesome.
Hello, Ann. Shabbat
Everyone
shalom.
going across my
It's funny.
People get in front of the temple.
Probably have a.
Hi, Laxi.
Hey, Abby.
Hi, Deb.
Hi, Regina.
Hi, Elaine.
Hi, Elaine. Jesus.
I'm stuffing these pictures of
Hi,
birds.
Abishai. Hi,
Oh,
hello, Trust. Hi,
Hi,
How are you? Linda?
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Bye.
Hi, Bob.
Shabbat shalom, Mariam. Shabbat shalom, Lexus.
Yes. Miriam, Shabbat Shalom.
Hi there, Elaine.
Hi.
Elaine.
Bye.
Two, we're down to two.
Or orange.
Yeah.
What?
And control.
Shabbat shalom. Bella and Jim. Marianne. Shabbat shalom.
Hi, Deb. Where?
All right, I'm gonna do the breakout rooms now, so that we can have a chance to actually speak to each other. That's really the only way, of course, that we can make Zoom work to have conversations, is to have really groups of I think ideally 5 or less is the best for conversation in Zoom. So if you'd like to hang around for that, excellent. Please just stay right where you are. If you prefer not to be in a breakout room, and again, we'll only do it for about a minute or two. Now is a great time to sign off and say Shabbat Shalom to you. Thank you for being with us. Shabbat Shalom. I'll wait just a moment for folks to sign off who don't want to be in those breakout rooms. And you've been invited.
Hello?
Hello? Who's there? Who was
Still
calling?
waiting, Josh.
Who's that? I'm not sure who that is. Huh. Let's see. Marilyn Jeffs? Marilyn, are you there?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Hello, yes, I can hear you. Are you not getting the invitation to join the room? To join a room?
This is the room we ended up in, but we have to take off. But happy to say Shabbat Shalom. That was very nice. It's like
Shabbat Shalom.
It's like listening to it on shortwave radio in a way.
And I see it was your mom's. I see it was your mom's yard site today.
Yes, she's. I mean, oddly enough, she probably would not go to her own yard site. But
okay. Well, they're for us. They're for the living. So
it was really nice, and you got pretty well.
Thank you. I had one technical glitch there. I got knocked off during the Amidah, and thankfully got right back on. So I got very, very worried. But Shabbat Shalom to you.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
It was
Absolutely,
lovely.
of course.
All right. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Hey, Elida. Shabbat Shalom. You're muted. I can't hear you, Elida. Hey, Mark. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Okay. Rabbi, I
There you
want
go.
to mail you something. I don't think I can do it over the internet. Do you mind if I put it in the regular mail for you?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. You can just send it to the synagogue if you want. That's easiest for you.
Do you
I'll
get
get
the
it.
mail there?
Yeah, I go in about once a week.
Oh, all right. Because I can mail it to your house. You'll get it faster.
Sure, you can do that too. Absolutely.
You mind just, there's a telephone symbol.
Sorry?
I had an icon for a telephone. I didn't know
That's
what
mine. It's mine.
Hey, before we go to the other breakout rooms, I have a question for somebody. I sent a text to Elida Silverman,
Yes,
but then I got bumped offline. Are
no,
you the
that's
person?
me. And I try to answer you. Yes, my oldest son is Andrew Silverman. Josh Silverman is our middle son, who is the CEO of Etsy. And we are their parents and my daughter Leslie. And yes, we knew your father, Stefan.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, in fact, you sometimes ride with us.
I didn't say again.
You occasionally rode in the car with Andrew and Jean and myself occasionally.
Okay, all right. That was a while ago.
A long while ago, but you asked me if those were my.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't. I got bumped offline, so I couldn't see. So now I know, and I'm glad I know.
I tried to answer, but there was no place to like send.
How is Andy?
Let's hold on. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put you both in the same room together. Okay, how about that?
Okay.
and all of us can continue to do the breakout rooms.
This is great.
So give me a moment, and I'll get you in the same room eventually. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Where's the mouse? There it is.
Hey, Larry.
I hit the wrong button.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
Let's see.
I've been in 2 breakout rooms and with 2 rabbis now, so I think I'm covered.
Very good.
Yeah.
Where did?
But yeah, Bob was showing us the location of where he lived in Italy. He was pointing on the screen to his actual location.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
very good.
I see Marilyn is here.
Marilyn, I think Marilyn's asleep.
Oh, I can see the top of her head.
Yeah, I think she's asleep over there.
Yeah.
She didn't join the last time either.
Oh, I should mention that my wife Mary and some of her friends, there were a total of 8 chicks that had a wine tasting together. 4 of those actually were real chickens. I don't know if you
Very good.
Yeah, down the street, they have 4 chickens that have actually grown quite a bit.
Yeah. Very good. Yes. Nicole's, what's the last name, right?
Lou and Nancy Fulcher.
Yes. Nancy, that's right. Fulcher, yes.
Yeah. Oh, we've been joined by.
Hello, Elaine.
I see Elaine in the background.
Yeah. And Susan, hello. All right, folks are coming back. Hello. Alida, I'll send you an email with my address, okay? I'll send you an email with my address. So not that I mind the 2 other people in the room I know my address already, I think, but once the whole group gets here.
Whoa.
All right.
Thank you for throwing me into that room.
Hey, try. I do my best. I do my best. Okay, one more time, or should we say Shabbat Shalom?
One more time.
One more time.
Third time's a charm.
Right.
Sure.
All right. All right, folks. Let's recreate the rooms.
Everybody's really talented at this.
Yeah, he's getting real.
Technological wizard.
I never can find our mouse. I found it, but it won't go.